Welcome to the House of Torment. Welcome to the Minotaur's lair. Welcome to Maze's End. First, shuffle the event deck, then place it in its designated location on the board. Then, decide how many players are playing the game. Have each player pick a color, then place those colors' treasure hunter figures in their starting area on the board. Next, place the Minotaur in the center of the board. For each color being used, take the matching gems and stick them in their correlating squares around the maze. Now that the board is set up, we must distribute walls to each player. For a 4-player game, each player will receive 2 regular walls as well as their colored wall. The placement phase takes place at the start of a new game, where each player will then take turns placing walls to create the maze. The player wearing the most jewelry goes first, or you may instead roll the number die. Highest roll goes first. Proceed turns going clockwise. Once you have determined who is first, take turns placing a wall on the board. When placing a wall, place the wall on a line at the edge of a square. This creates blockage that you must move around. When placing walls during the placement phase, walls are not allowed to touch. Also, walls cannot be placed on players' starting areas. Colored walls are special to their matching color. When this wall is placed, if your color matches it, you can move through the wall as if it was a doorway. Whereas for the Minotaur and other players, it still acts as a normal wall. Do know that these walls can be moved and removed by other players. Each turn you take has 3 steps. Place a wall, roll the event die, and move your figures. The first thing you do on a turn is place a wall. Placing walls on your turn is different than the placement phase, as now when you place walls, they are allowed to touch each other. They can also be placed on starting areas. When the walls run out, just skip this step. The second thing you do on your turn is roll the event die. There are 3 different symbols on the die. Move the Minotaur, move a wall, and draw an event card. If you roll move a wall, you may pick up an existing wall and relocate it to a new position on the board. Remember, you can move colored walls that belong to other players. If you roll move the Minotaur, you control the Minotaur. You move the Minotaur an amount of times equal to the die roll. There are 2 ways to move the Minotaur. The first allows the Minotaur to move all the way in a straight line until hitting a wall or the edge of the maze. The second allows the Minotaur to jump over an adjacent wall, placing him on the other side. If the Minotaur were to pass through a player's figure, that figure would be slayed. For example, if we had a wall here and we rolled move the Minotaur twice, we could move the Minotaur in a straight line to hit this wall, then in a straight line to hit the edge of the maze, passing through yellow's figure. When a figure is slayed by the Minotaur, they are sent back to their starting area. The third symbol on the die allows you to draw an event card, taking a card off the top of the event deck and reading it out loud. For example, I drew the card Redemption. Redemption allows me to save the card and discard the card when I am attacked by the Minotaur. In this example, I could discard my Redemption card to save my figure. The last thing you do on your turn is move your figures. You may move up to 3 times, and split these movements between your figures. For example, I could spend all 3 movements on one figure, or I could split them to have one figure move 1 and another move 2. Do know that you do not need to use all your movements, as if you are blocked, you will not be able to move. To win the game, players must collect both of their colored gems, then escape the maze. To collect a gem, you must move one of your figures to the same square as that gem. When you collect a gem, set it aside. Let's say Blue had collected both gems. Now they must escape the maze. To escape the maze, players must get all their figures to the opposite corner of the board. Thank you so much for checking out this how to play video on Maze's End. Stay tuned in a few weeks as we'll have a full playthrough demo on the channel. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. And always, stay awesome.